Hello comrades, yes it's me, a Yorkshireman, now living in Wales, and I hope everybody's okay. So today comrades, this is a continuation of my review of the Welsh First Minister interview she did. So, I'll make one thing clear, I don't know if I try to be impartial with whatever I do. Certain things I don't like, and if I don't like them I'll tell you to be honest about it all. Yes, honesty is a rare commodity these days. I also like to try and do good quality research. Just to sort of show things for what I think they are, using evidence where I can find it. A lot of the evidence is hidden. Right comrades, get ready, here we are, sit down, next clip coming up.
You said there's nothing Welsh about reform. I mean, they launched their manifesto here, they got I think nearly 17% of the vote share in the election even if they didn't get any seats. Why are people voting for reform?
Look, I think I understand that people are frustrated. You know, I get that the cost of living crisis has made people angry. But the kind of focus that reform has, for example, is on issues like immigration, over which we have no responsibility here in the Senedd. So, you know, if that's what your issue is, then this election is not where you're going to resolve that issue.
So you think people are basically focusing too much on one issue?
Right comrades, so again an interesting short clip there. What she says is reform are literally just focused on one issue, which is immigration. She then goes on to say that the Senedd have nothing to do with immigration. She also goes on to say that if immigration is your single issue, then this election in Wales has nothing to do with you, or don't vote in this election, which I found really odd. Also she goes on to say we're angry with the cost of living and inflation. Well, I'll tell you now, you're not wrong. However, let me then go back to this statement of immigration's nothing to do with the Senedd. Well, as I say, I often do my research and within about 2 minutes of clicking I found this plan here. By the Welsh Government, Refuge and Asylum Seeker Plan, Nation of Sanctuary, should I say. Right then, so clearly it is something to do, and as you can see there, it was done 1st of January 2019. Look, we've even got a full document in it. If I remember, this document has got many pages. Also, another person who knew about it is Jane Hunt, Deputy Minister and Chief Whip, because she's done a forward on it. Also, they have a bit of a website on it. So clearly it is something to do with the Senedd. How you vote is clearly up to you. But I do sort of take issue when people say one thing, but clearly the opposite is out there. Right comrades, on with the next section of the video.
I think people are basically focusing too much on one issue and not looking at everything else.
Well, we have no idea what they stand for and what they would do if they got in here. What we do know is that when people voted for UKIP last time, they lasted only a few months before they started falling apart, falling out with each other. I think we had 4 different parties that they disintegrated into, and that's the real issue, is that they've never been tested. But more than that, you know, what would they do with the NHS? I mean, Nigel Farage is very keen to shrink the state.
Right, now I found that quite interesting. First off, says that if UKIP, oh well, should I say, in the experience of her, UKIP sort of made some progress, fell apart. Well, I think we're now on to our 3rd First Minister, so it's not really like a good track record. The other thing, she turns around and says, don't know what they stand for. Well, as I say, I went on the internet, within 2 minutes again, had found this little bit of a document here, and it's a Reform UK Our Contract with You. Also, look at here, there you go, you've got a bit of a menu there, pick what you like, ignore what you don't like. Now, the interesting thing, when I looked at this, it was only about under 40 pages. Most sort of manifesto or pledges or contracts, whatever they're going to call them these days, were into hundreds and hundreds of pages. Now, regarding making the state smaller, well, you might have gathered from me, I'm all for that. Less is more. That is my little mantra in life, so I'm okay with getting less. Regarding the NHS, she says Nigel Reform Party, I'll say, oh Nigel Farage wants to make it sort of privatise some of it. It's privatised anyway, because it's quite often you go to the NHS and you to a private organisation. Now, so what's the difference on that? And I actually believe that if I ring up the NHS, because I've contributed all my life, my mum and dad have contributed, their mum and dad have contributed, all my life, all my family, going back many generations, have contributed to it. Yes, I should get something out of it. Simple as that. Anybody who hasn't, to be honest, no, go private. That's where that's my take on it. The other thing is quite often, well, mostly I should imagine, in these private hospitals, they employ doctors and nurses who have, ironically, guess what, been trained by the NHS. Yet they can just go and there's no penalties. Now, unless that's changed, but last time I was there was no penalties. So for me, you should get tied in via some sort of training contract that you can either pay it back or you have to work for so many years. That's how I'd like to see it work. So I'm very open about what to do with the NHS. Right, converts, thank you for watching. Please tick subscribe and catch you on the other side. Thumbs up.